Well, here's my point. They, for 2 years, off and on, coming into the university a couple times a month, found the 125 smartest kids in not just normal tests, but all sorts of things. I mean, my dad later, found out that it was a program for astronaut screening and other government programs. They had this everywhere. But then what they really selected them out for at the end was, okay, you're the sixth best after a 2-year program. They would give them the supplies, and my dad would go home and build a laser and then stuff like that. And, they'd see if they could do it. And at the end of it, it's okay. You've been chosen. You're going to be a minion of the ruling elite, and you're going to help carry out the extermination. I mean, that's my folks. It didn't just happen to my dad's. My whole point.
Yeah.
And then I guess his name was on some list because then later they tried to recruit him and other top dentists for some secret, cybernetic bone implant thing for soldiers in the 80s. I got a buddy who they recruited, who's only a few years older than me. He's a Hollywood producer. And he got recruited, and then Microsoft came to him and said, we're hiring you because, we have your file on that advanced thing you did in Houston, which is really a NASA program for advanced children, and we've got your file, and we want to just pay you a couple million a year just to, find out the contents of your brain. Yep. I mean, that's what they're doing, folks.
Well, I know. Look, we talked about how I got started. There's another thing I wanted to talk about how I got started in this. In 1967, I was researching the subject of communism in Glendale, California, at the library. And I have been talking about, as I said, about all this subject of the conspiracies in government, etc., since the early 60s. But in 67, I happened to be in Glendale, California, going through the encyclopedias. I was looking up some information on Soviet communism. And in the World Book Encyclopedia under Soviet Russia, I turned to that page, and and there was a picture of the Soviet flag, the red flag, and with the hammer and sickle, and then beneath it was the Soviet coat of arms. And beneath each one of those pictures gave a little sentence or two explaining the symbolism. And when I read the symbolism on the Soviet National Coat of Arms, it was a shock to me because since early 60s, I had been researching secret societies and had continually come across a particular catchphrase that virtually everybody was using. The British were using it, the Americans used it, the communists were using it, the Nazis used it all the time, the fascists used it in Italy, the ancient Romans used it, the ancient Greeks used it. It was a catchphrase that everybody was using, and I kind of had it in the back of my mind. Well, there it is again, and here it is over here, and there it is over there. Until such time as I was looking at encyclopedia under Soviet and read the little piece under the Soviet National Coat of Arms, and it absolutely, I was absolutely floored because for the first time I finally got it. I finally got what that symbol really meant, and it changed my life in one day because I knew instinctively.
It was all the same team against us.
Well, let me finish. I instinctively knew that I had found something of awesome importance.
Tell us.
But I didn't understand what it was I found. I just knew that whatever it is I've got here is going to be explosive one day. I don't know what it is, but it's really important.
What's the catchphrase?
And the catchphrase was the dawn of a new day.
Yes.
And the symbol of the sun coming up over the earth in a mountain.
And that's what California's got. That's
everybody.
Everybody
uses it. It's used by the Russians, the Nazis, and once you see how it was used by the ancient Roman Empire, for the Caesars used it, and the ancient Greeks used it.
In fact, their top standards wasn't even eagles. It was that rising sun.
That's exactly right.
The Japanese.
Absolutely.
So what does it mean from all of your... We know it's sun worship, but what is that new one, rising?
That means that there is a rising on the earth of a very powerful, intellectual, secret order of light and intelligence that is superior to the human race. It's superior to humans. It is a rising of a light in the world, which is other world. The word I'm looking for is occult. There is a powerful secret society operating in the world.
And Albert Sykes said that was Lucifer.
Well, Lucifer is simply but Lucifer is simply the planet Venus, which is the bringer of the light, because Venus always.
Why do they call Jesus the morning star in the Bible and Lucifer the morning
That's
star?
right. Jesus is referred to as Lucifer in the book of in the Bible, and that's part of what I'm talking about. That's part of what I'm trying to explain in a very few words. There is a war between the two kinds of light: white light and black light.
Black sunshine
light is used in dance halls and entertainment venues where they use black light. Black light only shows up certain things, and a white light is different. So there's a war between two kinds of light, which means there's a war between two kinds of intelligence. And so that symbol which I stumbled on, which was the symbol of the Soviet Union, opened up for me a can of worms that I am still, to this very day, over 40 years ago and 67, and today I am still working on it, and one day I would like to be able to have the finances to put together a 3 or 4 hour documentary on the most incredible dark secret of the human race, how this symbol has been used by the most ancient secret societies in preparation and preparing to transform the human race. And it's just so much to explain. I can't even, it's hard to find words to explain the significance of what it is that I found. And I've got.
You're saying an off-world intelligence has, through human managers that they've made deals with, is in the process of basically destroying humanity.
That's exactly right. And
they've been promised immortality and power and godhood if they will treacherously enslave their own species, and that's why generationally it continues. That's why it's more advanced than our greatest intellectuals. That's why it's so incredibly subtle that even our greatest minds have trouble. Like John the Revelator on Patmos, reveling at the beast, couldn't even believe what he was seeing. It's so huge that our greatest minds can't even hardly grasp it. That's
exactly right.
Yeah.
And let me give you one quick quote from a book, from a reference book on secret societies. I want to just give you this quote because it's very germane to what I'm talking about. This is a quote from a lady who was a member of the Golden Dawn Society, and she was very old when she left the Golden Dawn, and she was interviewed in France. And she said this. She said, I have been convinced that we, as an order, and at that point the Golden Dawn, I have been convinced that we, as an order, have come under the power of some very evil occult order, profoundly versed in science, both occult and otherwise. Though not infallible, their methods being black magic, that is to say, electromagnetic power, hypnotism, and powerful suggestion. We are convinced that the order is being controlled by some kind of a sun order, after the nature of the Illuminati, if not by that order itself, end quote. I'm telling you, when I was reading this, I thought, my God, there's something awesome that I have stumbled upon. I can't get to the end of it. I've just got hundreds.
Are the true initiates of the true order less than 100?
I would think so. Very, very, very small, select few who can really wrap their brains around what this whole thing is all about. It's the transmutation of the human race, preparing the human family on the earth for a new age, a new dawn of a whole new kind of earth.
Hellish.
And I'm telling you, I've been looking at this for over 40 years. I would love to be able to do something with it. But the problem I have faced, Alex, is that I don't have anything. I just live in 2 rooms with my sick brother, who have nothing because I've spent my whole life.
Jordan, this is important enough that I can probably work with you or try to get some folks to help you.
I would love to work with you on this and really do something with this subject that nobody's ever heard.
Well, I understand that you want to do a masterwork with it, but I think something like the basic slide projection, but lay it all out because time is of the essence, and just get something. I mean, make it good, put video over what you're saying as well, but like a slide projection with video, put over it, and you going to a few sites.